Evening. How are you tonight?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Not too bad. So I'm Andrew from radio. We're just getting Nick wired up here. He was brutally unprepared, so just one
Yeah,
second. Bear with us, please.
one of those things where
No worries.
you thought you brought everything and you didn't, and you've been on the other side of the country for far too long, and you forget what it's like to be in the zone. So just bear with us for one second as we get stuff set up.
Uh, so,
Awesome.
so for people that have never heard of you before, describe yourself, introduce yourself to the listeners of Radio Nation.
My name is Tiffany Houghton, and I am a Dallas, Texas native. I now live in Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up performing. I love to write songs. I love to be on stage, and it's what I plan on spending the rest of my life doing.
Excellent. So I guess describe your musical style. Are you like a really heavy punk rock? I like to go out on Friday nights and start a fight kind of music, or are you more of a? How would you describe your music?
I would say it definitely reflects my personality, and I don't go start fights a lot, although I might think about doing that occasionally. I really do write from my journal, which is true stories. It's very reflective of who I am and real life experiences.
Tiffany, it's Nicholas here. You packed up and moved to Nashville when you were 18 years old. What made you decide to just move to Nashville?
It wasn't like a spur of the moment decision. It's definitely been something that has weighed on my mind since I was really young. And it's been a dream of mine, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy to come out here, but throughout high school I finished my credits early on, and I got to give a shout out to Booker T. Washington High School for the performing arts. They were so good to me for my senior year, and I spent my first semester my senior year and finished up school and then came straight out here.
Now, I understand as well that when you got to Music City, it wasn't too long where you had a lot of your stuff stolen. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. The first night, actually, we drove in. It was 13 hours, and it was super late, and I left my stuff in my car, and I came out the next morning, and everything was stolen. And it's not necessarily the guitar or the things that were, that cost money, but I had journals that I'd been keeping since I was 7 years old that were stolen. I was digging in dumpsters near around and trying to just find those journals because that's so irreplaceable. Just so many songs I'd written and so many things that were taken from me, and that was hard.
As a country musician, you have had the honor of doing the national anthem at the Dallas Mavericks games and in Texas Rangers games, and you've opened for country music star Joe Nichols at the Texas Stampede. What is that like for you? What's that feeling like to be able to perform those national anthems and open for somebody, like a star like Joe Nichols?
Honestly, it's very humbling. I was raised in a family where we were taught to really, really be grateful, and to be able to honor our country. And, even if it's in front of just a small few people, in relation to the amount of people in our country, but to honor our country at, an event like that is just, it's very, very rewarding because it's not necessarily about me. It's about how blessed I feel to live where I do live, and that was really, really, really rewarding. I loved opening for Joe Nichols. That was a phenomenal experience, and I've had few experiences like that were just so exciting to be in front of so many people and to feel like I'm influencing people with my music.
Not to crisscross you a little bit. I just want to go back to your journals and losing them. Now, you mentioned that you had a bunch of songs that you had written out, and that was countless amount of hours and, for lack of a better word, emotion that you had thrown into those journals. So how do you recover that, just from an artist standpoint and from a personal standpoint? How do you get all of that back?
Honestly, you don't. You really don't, and it's been a huge struggle. It's been something that I've struggled with since I've been here, and you know, you can't necessarily always fix things that have happened, but you definitely can make something of them. And, you know, I take, that's been my whole life. You take things that come in your way and you just keep moving. And you can control what you can control, and you can't control what you can't. And so I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily over it or that I've recovered, but it's definitely something that I look at as an opportunity to be better and to appreciate the words that I will write from now on, and to cherish them.
When this happened, when you lost all of all your stuff, I mean, how were you able to bounce back? How were you able to channel that and take it into something and make it into music, and to just sort of bounce back from like a traumatic experience like that?
It's interesting. Right after all this happened, my parents were actually with me. They were dropping me off, and they had a flight that morning when I found all my stuff stolen. And I mean, to be honest, I prayed, and I'm not necessarily a gospel singer, but I am definitely a person of faith. And I had a very strong feeling that I needed to be in Nashville, and this is where I will, be able to do the things that I'm supposed to be doing in my life. And it's through that strength, and it's through looking through a bigger picture, and there's so many people out there that are suffering from things way bigger than what I lost. And I think life is all about perspective, and recognizing what you do have rather than worrying about what you don't.
What would you say was the biggest challenge for you then as a musician? Would you say that was one of the biggest challenges you faced?
Yeah, that, and also, Nashville is an incredible town. There's so much talent, and, it's hard to, a diamond is worth a lot, but if there are tons and tons of diamonds all around you, it's hard for people to see, your talent. And it's very, very concentrated with incredible people and incredible musicians, and the competition is high, and it's hard. And I don't, there's not necessarily a formula for success, and it's just kind of if the stars align. But yeah, so I would say as a musician, my two biggest difficulties were, just being able to differentiate myself, and then also, losing all those journals and everything, and recreating all of the magic in the music.
Tip from the pro here: just be a ruby. That's how you stand out against all those diamonds.
Exactly. Well, my middle name's Crystal, so.
Oh, that works out. There you go.
Now,
exactly. No, I've heard crystals aren't as great as diamonds, though.
I like crystals, so, I mean. Now, growing up, who were your biggest influences as a musician?
Oh my gosh. Well, y'all are from Canada, so I'm sure you know her very well. I grew up on Shania Twain. Oh my gosh. I love Shania Twain. My dad and I we'd go on drives, and we'd go to Barnes & Noble, and we'd pick out a CD, and I always just wanted Shania. And he'd drive me to school every morning, and we would just, Shania. I know all of her songs. I love her to death. I've read her autobiography a few times. And she's been a real inspiration to me. I love Martina McBride. I really appreciate what she sings about, and I really love her image, and I'd love to emulate some of her values. I really liked listening to Dixie Chicks growing up, Garth Brooks, Kenny Chesney, just a lot of the 90s country.
What's your favorite Shania Twain song?
Oh my gosh.
If you had to pick just one.
I have to pick just one? Oh my gosh. Well, I love From This Moment On.
That's a good one.
That is a good song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Now, I'm just looking on your site here now, and you have like a cooking video. Is that what I'm looking at? That looks really cool.
Yes. Okay, so since I got to Nashville, I have had to do a lot of cooking on my own, which is, hard because my mom was such a great cook. And one treat that she would make us was these things called crownies. and it was a chocolate chip cookie with a brownie in the middle. And so in this video that I'm doing, I'm doing it for Halloween, for my fans for Halloween. I bake brownies, and I explain to them how to make them. And it's kind of the blind leading the blind, because I'm still, trying to get better at my cooking skills. But I figured I'd post it anyway, and there will be more Tiff treats to come.
So is this something that we could expect to sort of be a regular thing? Because I could definitely learn. I need to learn some more cooking skills. So
yes, you just stay tuned for more Tiff treats.
Serious question. If we send you the address for our studio, will you send us cookies for Christmas?
Go join the mailing list.
I'm going to do it right now.
Honestly, that's a pretty good idea.
I can put a good word in for you.
There you go. I'm actually can people request things that you can for you to make like can I request something? Like, could you do a certain type of cookies for me, and you can actually bake them and do a video on it?
That's a really, really good question. And that's definitely something I will be considering. I think that's a great idea. But I'm nervous, because what if someone gives me something really, really, really hard?
You'll just have to learn on the fly.
I'll just have to learn on the fly.
Now, when you're making the video, was it really hard, because just to set it up and do the the whole thing, like where they do the cooking thing and zoom in and have the stuff already made and then do the ingredient? Was that hard?
Honestly, we took a few takes, and at first we were kind of trying to be serious with the whole thing, and then I was like, I don't want to be serious. It's not it's kind of funny anyway, and so we made it into something where we did some cuts here and there, and we just took a few takes and then we put it together. So
I'm going to switch gears here a little bit here and get more back onto your music career. Now you're from Dallas. You're in the Dallas, Texas area. What's it like? You've performed with other musicians, including we've had Ashley Lissette on the show, and you've performed at the same venues as her. What's it like working with and being in an environment where country music is so strong?
It definitely raises the bar, and it makes me want to be better as an artist and a songwriter and as a person. I really want to have a lot to offer, and there are a lot of people out here that have a ton to offer, and so it's inspiring. It's really inspirational.
I want to talk for a brief second about Nashville as a city, as Music City. I've heard people who have been to Nashville, have gone there for music or live there, that Nashville, everybody thinks that Nashville is the mecca for country music, but there's a lot. It's for a lot of genres of music that Nashville is the place to go. So do you ever find that you're interacting with people from different genres and that kind of rubs off on the music that you're writing?
Absolutely. I think it's more important as an artist to focus on just making good music instead of making it for a certain genre. And it so happens that when I write music, it comes out country, and so I've always wanted to be a country artist. But there are definitely a lot of people to learn from out here that are not in country music, that just still make incredible music.
So to get back to my first question, is there a chance that you'll become a screaming punk?
I doubt it, but who knows? Some guy might break my heart, and I might go a little crazy. But as of now, I'm going to be country.
Now, I have a quick question. Are you a big Taylor Swift fan?
I love her. I really do.
Have you heard her new album yet?
Absolutely.
And what do you think of it?
I like it. I think she's so interesting in how she's gone kind of a different direction as far as genres go. But like I said earlier, it's not about necessarily the genre. It's very much about incredible music, and she is a brilliant writer, and I love it. I've been a fan since I was very young.
Let's talk about your own album, your own EP. What were some of the inspirations that you had when creating this album?
Honestly, I loved creating this album because I had the opportunity to write all the songs on my own, and I also got to produce it. And there really were no boundaries. There was no big man telling me, what I needed to do. And it was nice because I didn't feel inhibited necessarily. I literally took songs from my journal, and I said what I felt, and then I got to put it all to music. And so I really, really, really learned a lot through the whole process of creating my EP, and I think it's going to serve me well throughout my career to have had those experiences.
What was the big challenge in coming up with the album?
Picking which songs I wanted to record. Songs are like babies. It's like you can't really pick your favorite child. And so
I don't know about that. I know I'm my parents' favorite child. They tell me that every day.
But anyway, so that was kind of hard. Like, picking which song. Other than that, I really truthfully, it was very fun to make this EP. There weren't a lot of things that were super hard about it, because I was truly loving what I was doing.
Talk to me a bit about your writing style. Do you just write lyrics down first, or how do you? I guess what gets you in the mood to write music and begin that process?
For this EP, it was definitely lyrics first. I would write a lot about different things going on in my life. For instance, Only One. I actually came up with the idea on my way home from school. I was in the car and it was 4:38, and I was actually really upset at the time, and I had these thoughts keep coming in my head, and then I came up with, I called you one and only, but you were only one. And I went home and I wrote that song. And, Like He Treats Her is a song that I wrote for my parents, and that one, basically, I feel like it wrote itself. They left on a walk holding hands, and I wrote it for them while they were gone, and they came back, and I ended up giving that to them for their 25th anniversary. And so it really depends on the song, but usually for me, I would say 90% of the time, it starts with the lyrics, and it starts with a story, and a very personal one usually.
Going forward, you also have a single called Only One. What was the inspiration for this single?
Only One is definitely, it's supposed to be a positive song. It's not supposed to be like a hatred song. But it's, I think it's all about perspective and finding, the light in a dark place. And so, you break up with somebody and it hurts, and you're like, oh, that's the only person that I can ever be with. And then when you realize that there really are so many more people out there in the world, and not to be cliche, but there are more fish in the sea. And I think when you really come to accept that truth, life gets a lot easier. And so that's what that song's about.
You're on the top 100 list for Dallas Twitter users. How did you find out about that?
I think they tweeted me and I saw that. That's just it's great. It feels great. I like Twitter. I really do. I like my fans and friends on Twitter. They're great.
Did it take you a while to get around to using Twitter? Because there are friends of mine who they just absolutely are not fans of Twitter at all, and then there are people that I know that they can't live without it. So
like me.
Oh my gosh! At first, I felt so stupid. I was like, "Who in the heck is gonna care to read, what I did this morning or what I'm doing today?" But over time, I think I guess it's like riding a bike. But when you're horrible at it and you don't have anything really good to say and you don't really know what to say, you don't like it. But over time, I've really begun to like using it.
I think of Twitter this way: Twitter's like a sharp stick in the eye. You don't see the point until you get it.
Yes.
Which is a really lame joke, but the point I'm trying to get is that Twitter it's one of those things that, like you get it and it's like, well, this is okay, I guess, and then you just get addicted, I find.
Yep. Wow.
Have you met any interesting fans off of Twitter? Like, have you connected with people that you're just like, wow, this is so cool?
Absolutely. There are actually some fans that I have in Argentina that I just adore. They are so loyal, and they've made, a Tumblr. They've made different fan clubs for me, and they're always really, really making me feel special, and I really appreciate their loyalty. I've also met a few other fans that have just stayed so loyal, and it really is these fans that get you through the day. So I've grown to love Twitter.
You got almost 40,000 followers on Twitter. How does that feel?
it feels good because people respond to me now, and so it's not as scary to use Twitter.
You're number 40 on that 100 list. You went up. It even tracks that you went up. You increased from like 42 or something. Is your goal to get to number 1? Is that like a little goal in the back here? I want to be the number 1 Twitter user in Dallas.
Well, I don't want to say that, but I will tell you I do have a very competitive nature. But it's more about the individual fan. I mean, Twitter is more about like reaching my fans and connecting with them than it is, about necessarily like a chart. I mean, when it comes to music, I'd love to be top of the charts someday, but Twitter, I just want to connect with my fans.
How do you get to the top charts in music? And I know that sounds like a really ridiculous question to ask, but I mean, how do you plan to really succeed as a musician is where I'm getting at here.
Please give us our plan on how you plan on taking over the world.
Yes.
Okay, so do we have all night?
We got a lot of time.
Honestly, I think it all starts with a song. You have to have a undeniable song that people are going to love, 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 and not only the people that hear it, but all the gatekeepers. A lot of artists will go on radio tours beforehand, but that's after they find the incredible song and the incredible producer and the label that's going to put the money behind a radio tour. And then you go and you make relationships and you play for a lot of people. And I've heard it's a process, so I'll let you know when I get there.
Let's switch gears here. We like to do this fun thing on Radio Nation where we ask a lot of fun questions. It's called the speed round, and Andrew's better at explaining it than I am myself.
Okay.
Do I go all casual here, or do I do the official announcing of the speed round?
Why not? Let's make casual.
Official.
All right, let's do official then.
So for those of you listening out across the internet, this is the speed round brought to you by our friends at... Who's sponsoring the show this week, Nick?
I don't know. Mom.
Okay, so brought to you by them. The speed round is where we throw a bunch of random questions at you, Tiffany. The quickest answer always wins. So we're just going to see what happens. We're going to just be absolutely just crazy and just going to see what sticks to the wall here. So the first question is, what is your favorite food?
Chocolate.
Where in the world would you love to visit most?
Bora Bora.
Would you be intimidated if I talked like this all the time?
No, I think it's funny.
He does a great intro for the show. It's actually really, really good.
I want to hear it.
We'll have to send you the recording.
Broadcasting.
Okay.
He actually does a good Jamaican accent, too.
I do not. That's a lie.
No, it really is. Okay.
Don't even go there.
Where is one place that you would always... You top dream place to perform live?
Oh, my gosh. The American Airlines Center, because I've seen incredible shows there, and that's my home.
Good answer. Are you a big sports fan?
Depends.
What is your favorite sport?
To watch?
Sure.
Football.
Ooh, Cowboys fan?
Some days.
Well, I guess with Romo as your quarterback,
yeah,
I can see that.
It's kind of hard to be.
Yeah. There's other two. You could be a Browns fan or a Dolphins fan. It could be worse.
Well, look at it this way. We live in Toronto, so our local NFL team is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and I'm a Dolphins fan, so that's even... I'm not sure what's worse.
Oh, God.
Both are pretty bad. Okay. You're featured in Music Row magazine. What was the most interesting thing about being featured in that magazine?
Oh, gosh. The most interesting thing?
Yeah.
I brought them brownies,
Did
and
you?
they enjoyed them.
That's awesome. Next time you come on here, bring us some.
People tend to like me better when I bring food, so I did that.
What is your favorite thing about being in Nashville?
Seeing every day.
Do you hang out at a lot of the venues that are there? I mean, do you collaborate with other musicians? Do you do songwriting? What about Nashville is just so interesting to be there as a musician?
I love the Bluebird Cafe. I love the people that play there, and I love seeing hit songwriters write or sing their songs. And I love how humble they are. Everybody's so humble here.
Where is No, I already asked you that. What am I saying? What is It's been a long day.
This is why it's the speed round, because
Yes.
it takes Nick 10 minutes to think of every question.
Well,
Dog person or cat person?
Dog.
Correct. That is the right answer.
do you have a dog?
I do, back at home, and I'm actually the reason my family got him.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to tell us that story now.
Oh gosh. Well, okay. So when I was younger, my dad and I would go hunting, and don't get mad. It was for Hunters for the Hungry, and so everything would get used to feed people that needed food.
I'm not judging.
So
I'm
anyway,
not gonna lie, I've always wanted to actually like go out and do that. That's one of those things that you just do to say like, yeah, I went hunting. One of those things.
oh my gosh. Well, if you ever get to
no
Texas
judgment here.
or Nashville, you'll have to let me know because I do enjoy hunting, and
I'm down.
we didn't have a dog, and all the hunting magazines had this little dog in it that would point out the ducks. And I didn't want to point out the ducks anymore as a 7-year-old little girl. So I begged and begged and begged my dad for a puppy. And he said, as soon as you find a puppy that doesn't poop, I'll buy it for you. And so, to make a long story short, he literally took me to different places to find puppies. And I would ask them that question. And it was too bad because all the dogs seemed to do that. So... Anyway, my dad, Karma, came around, and he was out hunting in December, and he shot a duck, and it went in the water. And he thought that he'd be able to go out in the water with his waders on, which actually like keeps you warm. It's like they're like really, really high, like rain boots kind of thing, but they come all the way up your leg and like up your body.
Yep.
And so sad, the water went above his waders, and he was freezing. And so he decided that we would get a little dog that would help us with our hunting. And to this day, we have Swiss Chocolate. And he's a brown lab.
Swiss Chocolate?
Yes.
That's an awesome name. That's cool.
I have a chocolate lab, and her name is Diva after Godiva Chocolate.
Oh, Diva. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
She fits her name, too. She really is a diva, which is interesting.
I'm a diva.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, there's me in the corner with my 2 cats.
I got a cat, too. Do you have a cat as well?
I love dogs, but just how it works out, I have 2 cats, but I absolutely love dogs.
I'm a cat guy. Just going to say, I like cats. But that's just me.
Scratch me.
My cat doesn't have claws, so...
My cats run in fear every time I'm near them.
Okay.
All right. So this is a question from Last Bullet. They came up with a lot of some of the questions we're asking, and one of them was, if you're on death row, you committed some terrible crime, and you're about to be executed, what is your final meal?
Oh gosh. Well, I wouldn't have killed somebody.
But let's say you did.
Theoretically, you went on a shooting spree.
Yeah, you got really mad.
Went hunting.
Yeah.
And ended up shooting somebody.
Gosh. Final meal. Something. Oh gosh, why? Okay. Final meal. It would have to end in dessert. I'm not really quite sure what the meal would be, but it would end in chocolate.
Would the dessert be crownies?
That actually might be with some Nutella on top. Oh, yum.
What was your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, Lion King.
Correct again. This girl's something else. You know what? You're okay, Tiffany. You're all right. I like you. You're okay.
Just okay.
Yeah. Well, easy there.
Where is one place that not that you want to perform in, but one place you'd like to go and spend more than a week? That isn't a vacation, but you just go to hang out.
I went to Africa. I guess that was over a year ago. I would love to go back there and to play with the kids there. Where
in Africa were you?
I was in Kenya and Tanzania.
Oh, cool. Okay, right on.
What brought you to Africa?
I went on it was kind of, we did like half safari and half kind of mission work. And we would go and we'd play with the Maasai kids at the tribes. And just seeing that culture, it really makes you appreciate, where we live and, the things that we have. I loved being there.
Where in, well, I guess what was one of the big things you took away from Africa other than what you just mentioned? I mean, coming back, I mean, obviously, like you just said, it's, it's a completely different world. But, I mean, did it translate into anything that you did musically afterwards?
Musically, I think it did because I wrote the stuff. I mean, I started writing a lot less like Poor Pitiful Me kind of a thing, and I was a lot more optimistic in my writing, I think.
That's a country song too, isn't it? Poor Pitiful Me.
Maybe it'll be one. I'll have to look into writing that one. But anyway, so I think it just made me a more positive thinker, which, you know, obviously translates into my writing, which translates into my songwriting.
If there was one musician in the world that you could meet, who would it be?
Shania Twain.
What is it about Shania Twain that you like most?
I really, really appreciate her story and what she came from and what she made of it.
Good answer. Have you ever always wanted to come to Canada?
Yes, just because of Shania Twain. I know she doesn't live there anymore, but I would love to go to the places, you know, like to the town where she grew up and that kind of thing. So
It's like that's like a 4-hour drive from our studio.
I don't even. Where's the Thunder
Timmins.
Bay?
No, Timmins.
Timmins. Where does she live now? She lives in Vegas.
I think.
she lives in Switzerland.
Oh,
No,
does
She-
you're thinking
she's-
of Celine Dion, Nick.
Yes.
No. She's about to perform in Vegas in December, and I'm going for my 19th birthday, and I can't wait.
Ooh.
Oh my God, that's
So
exciting.
she's there. She's there in December, but she lives in Switzerland now.
Cool.
She just had a child. Not. I shouldn't say recently, but you know, relatively not
You
long
guys know
ago.
way more about Shania Twain than I do.
I think he's about 8 years old.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
everything.
Well, you know, just recently, a decade ago, no biggie, whatever, right?
time flies. Time flies. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up
Time flies. Time flies. His name is Asia.
right on.
If
So
you could have any car in the world, what would it be? Like, what is your dream car?
Okay, you know what? That's funny because I really want like one of those old-timey cars that you only see like in either music videos or videos, and they look like they're like really, really cute. I don't know. I don't even know which kind I would want, but I would want a really old model of something really cute.
Cool.
Okay. We're trying to think of a really good question to ask you here, so I guess we'll ask you this: what is your favorite thing about social media?
Connecting with individual fans.
Have you ever gotten weird things on social media? And I know that sounds like a really weird question just to ask, but I mean,
Nick's a really weird person. I should just throw that out there right now.
yeah, I am. But I just mean like, have you ever gotten a fan that's just been like kind of a little over the top? Does that happen?
No, just overly enthusiastic fans, but I don't even think that's possible. I love my fans.
Good answer.
Now, I realize we've done this entire interview now, and we haven't even mentioned how people can find you over social media. Obviously, we mentioned that Twitter's a big thing for you, but so where can people find you?
My website went up a few months ago, and so that's just tiffanyhoughton.com. I am also on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram. Oh my gosh, I love Instagram so much. It makes me think I could be a photographer. And I think that's all. YouTube. I'm on YouTube.
Cool.
Another question for you, since you mentioned it, sort of. When do you turn 19?
December 6th.
And what about going to see Shania Twain? Like, what have you seen her live before?
No.
Oh, that's
never.
awesome. Oh, cool. That'll be.
Are you driving or flying?
Flying, I believe.
Have you ever taken a road trip that, like a musical road trip or just a road trip in general that you had a crazy experience on?
Oh, yes. When I was 10 years old, my parents drove with me from Dallas to New York, and it was actually my first time to stop in Nashville. And I saw Nashville for the first time on my way up to New York, where I would be performing and auditioning for different things and taking classes up there for a summer.
Speaking of New York, I actually wanted to ask that early on, and I kind of feel bad that I didn't, but you've done some Broadway sort of stuff. You played Nora on a television soap opera. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
New York was an incredible experience. They're definitely a little more cutthroat than Nashville is, and I think it gave me a pretty thick skin at a young age, and I realized this really is a business. But it taught me a lot, and I loved it. There were some really, really great experiences that I had. I was alternate for Amy, and then Nora on As the World Turns, and it was so fun. It was such a great time of life.
What when you're not doing music, when you're not doing anything related to your career, what are you doing? Like, what sort of activities do you like to do in your free time?
I love to run. I love to read. I am really close with my family, so I like to talk to them, call them. And I like to be outside. I really like getting outside.
What is your favorite book?
Favorite book is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers.
What about that book makes you love it so much?
Oh my gosh, it's beautifully written. I love the way her diction throughout the book. I really like what it's about. I don't know if y'all know what it's about, but it's just a beautifully story. It's a beautiful story, and it's told really well.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh, favorite movie? Well, I like romantic comedies, but I also like the Notebook kind of movies. I'm a hopeless romantic, which is fine. I don't care. Let's see. I like Runaway Bride. I like Hot Rod. I like.
That's a good movie.
As cool as it makes you sound, I love The Notebook. It's actually a really good movie.
Okay, see, you know what? Every single guy tries to act like they don't love that movie.
I cried at the end of that movie, man. That was the saddest ending I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god.
No. That's a beautiful ending.
It's really sad.
No, it's a beautiful ending. They get to be together, and they're, oh my gosh, it's perfect.
For
it's
like
ideal.
2 seconds. We're totally giving away.
I have no comment on this. I've seen it.
You've seen it?
I've seen it. I've even seen Ryan Gosling in person in where I worked as a kid, and I don't know. I can't say I didn't like it. I can't say I liked it. I feel indifferent about it.
It was, yeah. Okay.
But you mentioned Hot Rod, and I just watched that this morning actually.
Oh, so. It's this morning. It's hilarious.
It's a good movie. It is.
I love that movie.
When you first saw it, did you not find it funny? I didn't find it funny the first time I saw it.
No,
I had to walk away and think.
Funny. I did not.
Yeah.
First time I watched it, I was actually on a road trip with my whole family, and my brothers played it like maybe 3 times in a row because they thought it was so funny, and I was just livid. Like, it was the stupidest movie ever. And then by the 3rd time, like, I just couldn't stop laughing. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So now
Napoleon Dynamite is like that for me. The first time I saw it, it was on a road trip, and I was just so tired, and the people around me were just laughing so loud that I just couldn't sleep. So I just associated not being able to sleep and being angry about it with Napoleon Dynamite, and that's just ruined that movie for me.
Totally, yeah, put a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, Hot Rod is like a movie though that when I first saw it didn't find it funny. Then I walked away and I thought it was the funniest thing. Is like, this movie was actually really stupid and funny. It just
it's hilarious. I love it.
It's a good movie. All right, final thing before we do let you go, because we are a little tight on time. Although we probably could sit here all day and be on here for another 20 hours or so. I wanted to ask you this earlier. Performing the national anthem, how nervous were you going into that? This is one of those things you're like, I don't want to screw this up.
It's interesting. Performing the national anthem is always an interesting experience because it's like I said earlier, it's not about yourself, and you go in wanting to do well. It's not necessarily nerves. It's more just a desire to show respect to your country. I mean, it's a song that obviously everyone knows, and it has a lot of meaning to it. And so, there's pressure there just because it's, like I said, it's not about you. It has a bigger purpose and meaning, and so you want to do well.
Do you know which war the American national anthem was founded out of? Like, do you know which war they're talking about in the song?
The Revolutionary War.
I believe it's the War of 1812, is it not?
I have no idea, man.
I don't know what every Americans call it.
I think it's the Revolutionary War, which was, oh gosh, I think it was 1812.
Yeah, that would be the War of 1812. We won't talk about the War of 1812 because some of us in Canada believe that we actually won that war. And we're not gonna get into
talk about that.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that because we have a lot of American listeners, and we're just humble Canadians. We don't say anything about it.
Well, I like Canada.
Yay!
There you go.
Canada's awesome.
One last question for you: what was your favorite subject in school, or in
favorite English?
Very...
or math. Oh, that's so hard. Math or English?
Ooh.
And
I
those are two that I
really
didn't
liked
think
math.
that you wouldn't think would go together. Like you love English or you love like you don't meet very many people that love both of those things.
I know, and usually it's like science and math or like history and English.
See,
But for
that's
me,
me is history and English.
yeah,
I
no.
hated math. Oh
See,
my god.
I liked math and English were my favorite.
Fair enough. One last thing, Tiffany, that we do with everybody is essentially Nick and I are going to turn off our microphones. You have as much time as you would like to thank fans or just give a shout out or sing or just whatever you feel like doing. But the next voice you're going to hear on Radio Nation is that of Tiffany Houghton.
Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. To all my fans out there listening, I can't thank you guys enough for being along this journey with me and being so loyal and helping me out in so many ways. I really, really appreciate it. Right now, I have a thing going on right now called Tip or Treat for Halloween, and I want to wish you guys a happy Halloween. You can go on my Facebook or my website and sign up for my mailing list for a chance to win one of my famous cronies, which is a chocolate chip cookie with a brownie in the middle, or you can get a picture of me. So anyway, I want to wish you guys all a happy Halloween, and again, I can't thank you all enough for the support that you all have shown me over, the last few months. I love you guys so, so, so much, and I